Hey, what is going on everyone? Shiva Sapkota here with another Tesla accessory review. Today we are reviewing this brand new F9 instrument cluster display from Hansho. And if you're watching this video and rolling your eyes saying, great, another screen from Hansho, don't they make this every 2 weeks? It sure feels like that, and I'm with you. I'm getting tired of these new screens popping out every month, and I'm showing all of these screens to you so you know what features exist. But I think this one is a big deal, and there's a couple of reasons for that. I think they incorporated all of those functionalities that we had from all those other screens in the past and combined into one screen. I really like that approach, first of all, and the biggest is the hardware change, because we keep seeing the same screen that just goes in the front or the steering wheel panel. Now this is a slightly different design where it actually has built-in airflow, and if you remember, that is our biggest pain point with some of this larger screen is the airflow system. It blocks the airflow, but they built this airflow air vents here where if you look at it, it mounts on the air vent directly like the other screens, but because it has the airflow passage, the air actually comes out from the front. Full disclosure, Hansho did send us this display free of charge to demonstrate here in the channel. I have so many displays that I actually don't need a display, but I want to show you what this display does. Like always, they're not paying us to say anything. They're not sponsoring the channel. If you do want to check this out, I have a link in the description below along with a special discount code Shiva Tesla. If you put that code, you should be able to save up to 30% on this display. My discount code normally is somewhere in the 15 to 30%, but for this one, I believe they unlock 30%. And at no additional cost to you, if you use that discount code, I may make a very small commission, which helps us make videos like this in the future. Thank you very much. Let's get started. So let's do a quick unboxing here. I've already removed this screen. It has got a 3 lead here. One is the positive, negative. This is for the camera. So we'll connect all of that here. You have got the camera extension so that you can route the camera all the way from front to the back. This is your blind spot camera. I believe this is a 1080p front camera here. They also use this for the rear cameras for their streaming mirror. I believe it's the same camera. They have got this hardware where you can use to mount the camera. You can also adjust the angle of the camera. They send you a pry tool, and this is a thick wiring harness, but it's not as intimidating as it looks. There is just the Intel version and AMD version all integrated on the same one. Of course, we have seen something like this in the past. So this bigger chip goes for the AMD version, and then the smaller chip goes for the Intel version, and you have got your different connection points here. So let's show you how to do this whole installation detail step by step. To check if you have an Intel or the AMD chip, go to your vehicle setting, go to software menu, go here and press on this additional vehicle information, and this is where you are going to see, if you look closely on this pop-up here, it will show that infotainment processor is AMD Ryzen. So if you have the Intel Atom, this is where it will show that it is an Intel Atom. Next, we're going to remove the side dash trim panel on both sides of the car. We need to also remove this side door panel on both sides. If your car has an AMD chip, you also have to remove the bottom door panel. Once you remove the side trim panels on both sides, the dash easily comes out. Then you are going to want to remove the bottom door panel for the AMD cars. And to do that, you just have to remove this plastic screw. It is in a bit of an awkward position, but you can use a pry tool and that screw comes out. Then you can just reach underneath that panel and pull it up. And there is no more screws. It should just come right out. That is only for AMD. If you have an Intel version, you don't have to do any of that. Let's start with the camera installation. For those of you who are not interested in the camera, you're going to skip ahead. I'll put a timestamp for this. But for camera, it is a pretty straightforward installation, but very tedious. So this is the extension, as I said. So this will take this camera connection and then allow you to connect it all the way towards the front. So this is all wire routing. The camera itself looks like this. And what this does is it has got this lid over here that you can just connect it to either red or black, it doesn't matter. And then they send you the hardware for it. Now for this camera connection, this is a plastic hinge that is going to be mounted underneath the front license plate, or if you don't have a front license plate, we're going to paste this directly on the front bumper. I'll show you where. They send you this very, very strong 3M adhesive. We had a previous generation installed for about a year now, and it is still going well with just the adhesive, no problem. But if you want further security, you can also put this screws in there to secure this. But what you're going to do is there is a orientation for the camera. It shows you a little arrow that shows going up. So this is the positive. So you want to face this up like this. And all you have to do is slide the cable through here. So this part, and because this is going to be going on the bumper area, then what we are going to do is put this out like this, and then we are going to put the screws in here. So there are 2 screws that they send, the smaller screws, and we're going to secure this camera using those 2 screws right here. And that's it. So once we secure that, we'll paste this on top and then make the camera connection. So I've already put 1 screw over here, and it's the same exact process. You take one of these screws, put it in through the hole here, and then you secure it in place. And there you go. So this is good to go. Now we're gonna go over here, and we need to remove this panel, basically all of this, so that we can route the camera harness from underneath here, from the front, through the vents here, all the way towards the inside of the car. The first step is to remove the air vent here. These are just held down by a couple of clips, so shouldn't be very difficult to remove this. It just kind of pops out. Again, these are the clips that they are holding it down, so you just have to apply some pressure and then it comes out. Where things get a little bit different between the newer and the older Teslas. So the newer Teslas, if yours look like mine with the AMD chip, you're going to have 2 10mm socket screws here, and then there's going to be 2 10mm there. So those are the 4 ones, and you are also going to have a little plastic pin here that you got to remove. Now if you have an older Tesla, you're going to have 2 on the clips here as well as 2 on the front, and I'm going to show you how to do that here. I have a bookmark in the video to show you older versus newer Tesla. So this is for the newer Tesla. Again, this is where you're going to remove it. If this is what yours look like, these are the plugs you have to remove. There's 2 screws here, 2 screws there. So let's go ahead and remove that now. So you can take a standard socket wrench and then just remove this, or you can also use a drill, whatever your preference is. And I'm going to use just a standard socket and then remove this, but you can certainly use a drill, any power tools to remove this. Once you remove this, an easiest way to keep track of this screw is just drop this inside the front here, because we are going to be removing this whole thing anyway, so your screw will go with you if you just put it in the front like that. Next, we're going to take care of those 2 screws here. Again, it just takes a little bit to get this loosened, and then it comes right out. Next, we are going to just grab a pry tool and then remove this screw from here, and you just have to reach on that edge, that's the cutting there, and then this just comes out. That will remove this front panel from this unit here, so that you can easily remove this whole thing. Next thing we're gonna do is remove this panel here. As you can see, this is pretty loose already, but we do have to remove this here so that we can release this light, so you're not pulling on this light. Now, after you remove this panel, you should be able to just pull this out. But for some reason, if it is being stubborn, you can also use a small pin like this and push down on this bracket, the little tab that you see here, and then that should allow you to just pull this out completely. I would prevent pulling on the cables here. You should really focus on pulling on this bracket, and then as you see, it comes out. So that's the trick to it, is if it is being stubborn, this little thing is holding this in place. It's a design change from the older Tesla, so this is a little bit more difficult, but you can just use a little pin to pop this out. Now that we have removed all of this screw, the front is loose. We can just remove this super easily. There's nothing holding this in, and the whole thing just comes out. Remove the top air vent by simply pulling up on it. Be gentle with this process, as those clips shouldn't require much force. Remove the HVAC panel by gently pulling on it. It is held by those white clips. Pull up the front latch panel, take it out, and remove the front cable. Remove the front panel screws using 10mm socket. There are 7 screws, including the ones under the clips that are in the front. Remove the front panel by just gently pulling on the edges. Make your way around by starting on one edge of the car and go towards the other end. And for those of you who have never seen the interior of a front, this is what it looks like. It is that cover that is hiding all of this mess in here. And when you replace your power front and things, you have to tap here. But yeah, now we are going to reach underneath there through the air vents, and then take that cable in and then route it from this side all the way to the back there. So what we're gonna do is we're going to install the camera right here, so on the center here, so that the camera faces this way. We could do it in the bottom here, but as you can see, this is pretty closed up and it's pain in the butt to remove this. Never ever remove this without a plan. This is gonna take you forever to put this back on. Unless you're planning on drilling a hole here, I would recommend you put the camera right here so that you will still see the front bumper. I mean, you can put this down, put it straight. We'll show you how to do all that adjustment, but I would find the middle point here and then put that camera here. Now we're gonna paste it right here on this plastic part so that the camera kind of aligns here with the front, and then the cable we're going to pass it through here, and it's pretty easy actually through the air vent when the cable is going in. I'll show you from the top how I can see my hands coming here. So I'm putting my finger through here, and if we look at it from down below, you are able to see my finger right here. So that's how easy it is to pass that cable. Then it is all about wire routing and taking it to the back. So here's the camera, here's the cable for the camera. As I showed you earlier, this is somewhere in the middle for me, but I don't have to align that quite yet. I am just going to route this cable from the bottom, and then I don't need a fishing wire for this because I should be able to just feel it from the top here as I showed you guys earlier, and then get the cable. So here's the cable from the top, and now we can go ahead and install this camera and then route everything to the front. So Tesla helped me identify where the midpoint is because they put this vent accordingly. So there's 3 of these panels here. So 1, 2, 3. This one is in the very middle. 1, 2, 3. This one is in the very middle. So this is going to be your midpoint, exactly as a midpoint. Before you do anything, take a towel and then just thoroughly clean this area. Maybe put some rubbing alcohol or however you want to put it so that it is clean, so that the 3M adhesive sticks really, really well on the surface. So after you clean it, step 1 is to take this and peel this off from the back here and then attach this. So this is the cover for the camera itself. Now align this adhesive with the camera and then just put this in. Now you have got the camera secured here. Now we just need to remove this backing and then stick it here, but just align the camera so that it is in the same distance as this bumper here, so that when you are looking at it, the camera is not showing the object is either too close, because if you put it here, it will show too close. If you put it way back, it might not show you as close. So kind of make this straight so that the camera is giving you the true indication of where the object is. Always be careful because this camera might not show the accuracy. There's no ultrasonic sensor here. It will just show the visual to give you a general idea. So for me, it is right here, and then looks like if I put my camera right at the edge here, it is balancing this out. So all I have to do is remove this, the red cover from the other side. So I just have to peel this off, and then again once more align this so that I know where the center is. So I have that centered, and then here I have this centered as well, so that is vertical here. And then I'm gonna just lightly press it, step back, look at it, and make sure that this feels right, which this feels right to me. Now I can go ahead and just simply push it in to secure it in place, and that is all you have to do. Now the camera is secure, and I can adjust the angle, as I said. So if I want to just look straight down, I can adjust it, or if I want to look straight to the front, I can do that. Mine is gonna look like this because I want to know how close I'm getting to the bumpers, with those blocks, the concrete blocks on the parking. So mine is gonna be facing down like this. However you want to face this, it just make sure that it's not too far in or out. And oh yeah, this is secure. This is not going anywhere. But if you want a peace of mind, you can also put the little screws that they sent here to further secure it. But this is good to go. And now all we have to do is route this and then do all the wire routing on the top. I'll show you how I did my routing with the zip ties. As you can see, I kind of routed it along. All these yellow zip ties are the new cable management. So routed here, zip tied it all through. I'm gonna cut the end of the zip tie, routed it through here, and then I have passed it through there, and that's where I'm going to pass it through the firewall here. You can put electrical tape, zip ties, doesn't matter. Okay, the things get a little bit difficult once you reach this area after you routed the cable all the way through here, because we have to route that cable through the firewall to the front. Now, first thing you should do is you should look underneath there and then see if there are any plastic that you can see, rubber that you can see that looks like this rubber that you see here on the left. So first look for those rubbers anywhere on any of those plugs. As you see on mine, Tesla just did a metal. They did not put any rubber anywhere. So I have no space for me to route through there. You can also, if it is easier for you, you can also remove this HEPA filter here by undoing this 10mm bolt. And then there's one on the other side too. You can also remove this here, the plastic, and then it gives you more access. But I don't have to do that because when I look at it, there is nowhere they left me any space to pass this. Everything is metal. So what I'm gonna do is I am actually going to tap here. So I am going to make a small slit on this grommet, the rubber grommet here, and then I'm going to pass my camera wire through here. This was the same case when I did my Model 3 as well, that there was no place to put it, so I ended up making a little slit on the firewall down below, but now I don't even have that space. So all I have left is here. I am going to pop that out a little bit, route the wire, and then I'm going to make a small slit to pass my wire through there. That might be your solution, but you might find other grommets or anything, kind of a leather, plastic, rubber looking thing, and then just try to pop that out and see if you can pass it through the firewall. So to route the cable, we have this fishing wire going from here, from that grommet that we talked about. Sorry, the lighting is pretty bad. It's direct sunlight here, but still lighting is bad. So I passed it through there on the side to try to get the cable from the other side. And if we look at it inside, we did found that come through here. So this is the fishing cable that's already here. Now we are just going to put some electrical tape on the other side and then route it through here. So we're just going to be simply pulling this out so that we have that camera cable that come through. So here is the camera cable. So this is the end, the tip of it, and then this is the fishing cable that we routed to the other side. And all we have to do is use an electrical tape to secure this, then we're gonna pull it from the other side. So just grab a regular electrical tape, and then you can also use some of the fishing techniques if your fishing cable came with the hook and all that. Mine doesn't have none of that, so all I'm gonna do is a good old way of securing this with the electrical tape and then just pulling it from the other side. Okay, so what I ended up doing is just passing this through here, and because this is super thin, this actually seals really well. It doesn't stick out or anything, so the firewall seals. I know this is not the preferred method of doing things. You should probably make a hole here and then pass it if you're absolutely concerned about safety or anything. But the firewall seals, in my opinion, and I'm gonna leave it like that. I like non-invasive installations, so rather than making another hole, I'm just gonna leave it like that. This is super thin cable, so no issues for me here, and this seals, as I say, I can't see the light or anything there, so I'm gonna leave mine like that. Other side, as you can see, we pass it through the firewall and it's coming right here. Now we have successfully installed the camera, routed everything through the firewall over there. Before you put the front panel back on, let's test the system, because a lot could have happened since you install it. The cable could have come loose and it'll be a pain in the butt later to try to open that. So while it is all open, let's go ahead and test this unit. Let's talk about the wiring here so we can test this display. We have, of course, routed that camera cable, which is this cable that is running. So that's the camera cable that's coming from inside. Now we just have this 3 input here. We'll talk about that in just a second, but let's talk about this harness here. So you got this big harness. There's a lot of plugs here, but they have specific purposes. So this blue one, where you see there's this male and then there's this female, this one is for cars with AMD chip. So if your car shows AMD chip, this is the plug that you're going to use. If you have a car with an Intel chip, which is the older cars, then this is the plug that you're going to use. This is the small car. So if you have an Intel car, you just plug this in and you don't worry about the rest of the plug. If you have an AMD car, then you use this one and you don't worry about the Intel side of things. So let's just start with the computer plug. So this is the computer plug, and if you look at it over here, you'll see there is a blue female port there. So what that is, that gives us all the communication that is required for this display. So we take this blue male plug and then align it over here, and then we push it in. So let me show you here. So if you look at that, we align, and then you'll hear a click when it goes in, and that's it. So that communication plug is done. You don't plug anything to this. You can even put electrical tape to hide it, or just leave it open for other future accessories, so you can daisy chain other computer plugs in the future if needed, which is nice that Hansho did that, because in the past they would only send this blue plug, and now you can't connect any other accessories, so they send you a splitter basically. So that is just the computer side of things. Now for the AMD, as I said, we also have this unit here. This is for the power supply, because that blue plug is not powered. What used to happen is on the Intel cars, this plug is fully powered. It has 12 volt embedded into it, as denoted by that red, but that one does not have that, so we have to get extra power. But thankfully, they figured it out over the years where the power is. It is right here. So if you look at it from the door panel, you'll see that plug. This is the power plug. And all we are going to do is bypass that power plug using this plug that they sent with the kit. So to install that, you're gonna go over here. You're going to just press on this middle portion here, and while holding it down, you're going to pull the plug out. Now you're going to grab this unit here, take the male end of it, and then simply push it into this port here. There you go, that is done. Now you're going to grab the female end of it, and then we are going to connect it to the male end of the Tesla's connector. So when you do that, this looks like this here, and it will create a complete circuit. So wherever Tesla is using that power, the 12 volt power, it is continually getting that signal through there, the power from there, but we are also tapping into it so that we get power on this harness. And that is all the wiring, right? So now you got two ends here. There's the red and black, that's the power and ground. We have got this cable that we routed from the battery, so there's 3 connection here. And as I said, because this is an AMD car, you don't need this, so you're just going to hide it somewhere over here. Now let's move on to the Intel car so I can show you what the Intel version looks like. But basically for Intel, you only need this. You don't even need the blue one or this one. You only need this. Now, if you have an Intel car, it's a little bit more difficult, because you're gonna have to reach underneath here and then remove those plastic fasteners that you see. So all of those you have to remove. There are 4 of them, and then let's go through that process now. Of those 4 plastic screws, you can use a pry tool to remove them. Once the panel is removed, you will see the LED light connector, which can be removed by pinching on the middle tab and pulling it out. Then the speaker plug can be disconnected by simply pulling on the plug. This is the difficult plug we need to remove for the cars with an Intel chip. You just have to pinch on the middle tab, and while holding it down, pull the plug out. Then take the new harness and plug the male Tesla adapter into the female adapter of the new harness, and then take the new male adapter and plug it into the Tesla computer. Make sure to align the plug straight to prevent bending Tesla pins. Again, this is super tedious and requires a lot of patience. At the end, it should make a complete circuit. To test this unit before we fully install it, there are these 3 plugs that we routed from the bottom. There is the black and red power and ground, and then this is the camera plug that we routed all the way from the front, and there is just 3 plugs here as well. So what we're gonna do is, there is the yellow one that says Blindspot camera. So that's what we're going to plug this black one that we routed, or the red one, depending on which side you used. And there are these 2 arrows. I don't know if the camera can show very well. There are these 2 arrows. You just align it and then push it in. You take the red, align it with the red. There's a little notch, and then you push it in. Same thing with the black. So we align it and then push it in. And now we should be getting power here. So there you go. We got power. That means our wiring is correct. Now what I want to check is this blind spot camera. That's the most important one, so I can close the front. But to check that, you have to just press this right scroll wheel, press and hold as if you're going to activate the voice command, and then the camera will activate. As you saw, this just blinked, and I think the suspect is not the wiring, because I saw the camera fit. I think it is because the door is open. So let me close that door and then test it to make sure that it works, because when the door is open, the front camera does not work. So let me do that. So now I have closed all the doors here, and let's see if the camera works. So pressing and holding on that button there, and boom, the camera is working fine. So if you are testing it and if one of your doors is open and it's not working, that is probably the culprit, is you gotta close all of your doors. So Now this is good. Let's go ahead and fully install it. Okay, now we can wrap this up. So as I said, hide some of those plugs and then route those two cables through the dash over here, through this grommet. Just push it through and put some masking tape here so that these cables don't come into this clip, because it's really, really bad if they come into the clip and then you push the dash, then your cable is ruined. So just do that all around and then put the leads of this cable in the front. So we're gonna connect it from there. Now we can go ahead and put this side door panel. So now let's actually install this unit on our dash, and this is more of a center finding exercise. So it just depends on your OCD level where you want to put this, but essentially this is the steering wheel opening and you just want to center this. Everybody's dash is different. You might have replaced it, so I can't tell you like number 20 or 21 like in the past, but this is just whatever works for you. You can center it and you can put it in, and this is how it is going to install. Make this process a little bit easier once you find your center. So this is the center that I found for me, and I'm not too OCD, but I think this works. Now what you can do is go ahead and count the pins until it reaches this first leg. So and what you can do is then just put this masking tape on that first leg. So to denote that this is where we are going to put this first leg. That is important because when you remove this, it will show us where we need to mark this cable holes so that we can also get that marked. But now at least we know this is the first leg. What you can do after you mark your first leg, the pin over here, is then you want to count 1, 2, 3, and then on the fourth one, you can start putting the cable. So for the black, there's the yellow and then the red, and you can insert it through those openings there. Then we'll be able to just simply push this in. So on the back here, after you pass this wire, you can just take these wires and then run it through here. Make sure that this notch is facing towards the bottom, and then you're going to simply align this where you'll see the legs from the bottom and align it. So this would be the perfect location for all of this. Now we're going to use the screws that they sent with the kit and then put 4 screws to secure this. So as you see, I have gone ahead and installed 3 of this, and this is the last one. So all 4 are good to go. That means our display is fully secured here. So this installation is almost done. We already installed this unit in our dash over here. Now all we have to do is connect all the cables. I already showed you how to do the connection, but basically the red goes to red, and there's a little notch that you have to align. So that is the power there. Now we got the ground over here. So this is the power plug here for the ground. And we got one more cable, the yellow cable. This is for the camera wire that we routed from the front. And that's it. Now the screen should be turning on, which it is. So what I'm going to do is align these cables and do some cable management here so that we can put some masking tape, hide some of these plugs underneath so that this can go in smoothly here. So I'm probably gonna put some electrical tape to hide these cables here, and then put some masking tape around to just make sure that the cable stays so that they don't come in the way of these pins. As you see, it has got this soft material here. This needs to be pushed in so that this area is right up against this. So you want to push this so that the dash fits in perfectly. If you look at it, that's a really good fit. And then now we just have to find the pins underneath and then push this down. Look at it. This is down. Everything is fully secured. So now this is the full installation. We can put the side brackets here and we're done. Now let's check out this design. As I said, they made the design modification. So typically what they used to have is the screen would be sitting right here. So it would be kind of further away from the driver, but it would be sitting right here on top, and that is where it would be mounted. Or even if it is a little bit in the front, this is where it will be mounted, and it will be blocking the airflow here as well as here. So it will be blocking both of those airflow. Now, what they did with this design is that they have the airflow now. We showed you earlier where the air vents were going into here. So all of that air that is coming out directly is going through those air vents, passing through the screen, and they're coming out from these vents in the front. So that's a major design update that they did. Of course, because of this now, this kind of looks add-on, but at the same time, I think it looks pretty cool. It matches that Tesla's screen over there from the back. So when you're looking at it, it doesn't look too out of place, but I'll let you be the judge. All right, so as promised, we have installed the screen now. We are back to the same spot with the same technique. We are going to measure the airflow here. So, of course, this is 0, nothing going on here. Now, we have set this to 5. And as I said, this is just going straight to the front, and there's a lot of airflow that's coming in at 5. I think comparably, it's probably the same amount of airflow that we saw. And this is going directly to my face here. So, pretty good airflow in my opinion, compared to what we had without the screen. Now, let me put this to 10. So this is the full airflow, full blast, and this is going directly to my face, the airflow. Wow. And I haven't split the flow in the screen to go from the sides. This is straight. So, actually really good. And the vents, they are very strong. Now I can feel it right here. So if I put it in the vent, there's a lot of airflow. And towards my face, I feel it. It's going directly. This is actually really, really good. In the past, there would barely be any airflow going to my face. Now there is a lot. And as I said, here, there's a lot of airflow, as you see. Wow. And this is after the steering wheel. So first thing I notice about this is that there is this blue tint in the background. I don't know what type of a screen that they use. Of course, the camera is rectifying this even more, but I can notice that it's blue. And I thought it was maybe the screen protector, but it is not. I don't know what the reasoning was behind that. Well, the car is in parked, and if you don't have any of the doors open, this is what you see. But if you open the door, you'll see the animation pop up, and when you close it, the animation closes, which is pretty cool. And then it will show all the critical information, such as the headlight, the fog light, the time, you got your range over here, and then your percentage for the battery. It shows your odometer, the temperature, and it shows all of that information. Now, as soon as you put the car into drive, that is when you will get into one of those UI. This is UI number 1 during light mode, so during the day mode. And one thing that they changed, as I was telling you earlier in the intro, is that now if we were to turn the steering wheel, if you look at the lane lines that you see in the car, it moves slightly. So making that left, making that right, going straight. So it kind of is dynamic, so it is sensitive to the steering wheel to show you the lane lines on the right, which is really cool. Nothing that they have done in the past, so that is something that they added here. But this is a very familiar UI. We have seen this with their 8.6 or T6, whatever they were calling it, the display, where there is that dial in the middle. It shows the speed. It has the US-based speed limit. You see all the lights and everything on the top. There's the hill hold. There's the energy bar, regenerative versus power, your distance to empty, which is your range. They need to call this just range. And then there is that percentage, battery percentage here, shows the climate. And this, of course, is a touch screen, so you can go to setup from here at any time. But you can also use the scroll wheels, which I'll show you here in just a second on how to change that. But that's everything this has on UI number 1. Let me show you what the UI number 2 looks like. And to change between the different UI, you just have to swipe to this theme over here, and then you'll see UI 1, and this is UI 2. So this is what we see here. It's a very minimalist UI, and again, something that we have seen in the past. It just shows the speed here, and it shows the car in the middle. Again, this is dynamic, so when you are turning, it will show the turning lines according to your steering wheel, and then it just has all the rest of the information. But this is the UI that I like because the speed is in large font. I don't really like the dial, so honestly this is my preference here. Now let's go to UI number 3. When you press on that, this is UI number 3. Again, we're back to the dial, and if you are a fan of dial, by all means, but I'm not a very big fan of the dial system, but this actually looks decent. If you look at the clarity here, this looks really nice. So speed here, horsepower here, all of this stuff, we'll see the autopilot and whatnot in just here a second. But again, this is dynamic, and you see the brake light in the back, which is also really cool. Also, the headlight is turned on in the front. So those are the 3 UIs that you see here. Now, as far as the settings go to change between different things, as I said, there is that touch screen option for you, or you can go to the setup through here. You can also use the scroll wheel to go between different menus on that. So if you use the scroll wheel, this will also change between different settings over there. And another way you can get to the settings is if you press this towards the left and hold it for a couple of seconds. As you see, now we are into the settings menu, and we can completely use the scroll wheel, which is great because sometimes they take away the scroll wheel control and just have the touch screen, but now this supports the scroll wheel control. So on the settings menu, these are all the options that you get. Of course, there's that written button which you can go back, but there's language, there's time zone, there's temperature unit, the time, the US speed, PSI versus bar, the car color, daytime versus follow versus night, brightness, plaid. We'll show you that plaid switch here in just a second. They call it OTA upgrade. I want to believe that they have OTA upgrade, but they're probably going to just send you a flash drive. There's the front camera, you can toggle on or off, and then there's the audio output, which is either Bluetooth or if you are just going to do the speaker over here, I think you can switch between that. We'll test here just a second. And phone link, if you just want to do a split screen, or if you don't want the split screen and you want the CarPlay to be in full screen, you can also change that here. Now there's 2 ways to trigger the camera. One is if you just press and hold this button right here for a little while, the camera triggers, and then you will see the camera in the front. So that's one way, and to get rid of that view, you can just press here and it'll go away. Another one is that if you start driving, so put the car into drive and you start driving, in low speeds, the camera will just automatically turn on and you will be able to see that. So if you go from park to drive in low speed, the camera will just turn on. And the good thing about this camera is that you can actually adjust the angle. So if you want to show even more so that you see the curve a little bit more, you are able to. So let's just assume that this water bottle is the curve, and to show, we're getting close to the curve, let's go inside and check that. Now we have placed that water bottle. Let's turn on the camera. As you look at it, you can clearly see that water bottle here in the blind spot, which is really nice, especially for cars like mine that doesn't have the ultrasonic sensor in the front. That Model 3 that's sitting over there has it. This Model Y does not, and you're able to see that, and there is no way you would see that from the front. So it really allows you to park closely in the curve and not hit your bumper. And again, if you want the camera feed even in the reverse, just press and hold and it'll give you that camera feed. So we're reversing here, going towards the front. As you can see while driving, that camera is a pretty wide angle camera, and you can see it very clearly here. There's the car on the left, so that gives you an idea. You can see that mailbox very clearly here towards the right. So it's a pretty wide angle camera, and this was auto. The camera auto turned on, and it will turn off at 20 miles per hour when it reaches. Now talking about some of the features of this display here, it has got this speaker right here. It's a very loud speaker if you want to hear it from here. Here is a USB-C input, and they do send you a flash drive now with both USB-A and C. So if your computer only has USB-A, you can plug this in to download the software and then plug this USB-C end over here. So that's nice that they at least send you the USB for this. I hope that one day it is a true OTA upgrade. And then if we look at in the side over here, there's two different card slots. One is for a SIM card, so you can put a 4G, 5G SIM card. Another is for a SD card, so you can put the SD card in here as well. So there's two different input. Unfortunately, I don't have a SIM card handy right now, so I can't test that feature, but they say that it works, and because they have two ports here, makes me think that it works. And the previous generation of the displays, like the 10.25, the SIM card worked really nice. At a mobile hotspot, you can make it using the SIM card. All right, let's do some road testing here. So we're gonna put this into drive, and as I say, in low speed, the camera automatically turns on, which is really nice that you see the camera here, and if you reach 20 miles per hour, the camera turns off automatically. So far, so good. We give our blinker here towards the right, and the blinker is showing on the screen, and you see the dynamic, the lane shifting as we are changing the direction, and it shows that very clearly here. The speed, everything is showing really well. The tire pressure is matching the Tesla's tire pressure on my screen. Now we're going to try the autopilot. Shows the autopilot, the blue indicator here, which is nice. Now we're going to see if the nag shows up. The nag showed up right here, which is also great. It is blinking. Wow, they also incorporated the autopilot nag directly here. Now, one thing that I wanted to test here today is navigate on autopilot. So right now we have the navigate on autopilot turned on, if you can see right there. And last time with navigate on autopilot, it would not work. The autopilot sign would not pop up. Wow, looks like they fixed it, because now we are in navigate on autopilot with that one line in the middle, and it shows the sign, the road is blue, and you see the autopilot sign here. So that's really good. Let's see if it shows the nag as well when it pops up. But this is definitely in the right direction. That last time it didn't show anything. When it was navigate on autopilot, this would go gray, and we couldn't see the blue line. But now it denotes the blue line and the nag. Yeah, so it looks like the nag popped up. Maybe they need to fix that a little bit so that the nag is a little bit better. But hey, look, you can see the nag as flashing. It is exactly flashing exactly how the Tesla is flashing. Looks really nice. You can see the autopilot sign in the very middle. We have the autopilot, the navigate on autopilot turned on, and you can definitely see the speed and all of that. So we're gonna try the UI number 2 in dark mode with autopilot, and it does a really good job. So we're going to cancel this, and if you look at it, it is simple but effective. It shows the speed, it shows the car in the very middle with autopilot sign. Now, one more annoying thing they fixed is that when I put the car in autopilot, so now the car is in autopilot here, in the previous version, if I moved this stock here, the scroll wheel, to increase or decrease the speed, so for example, increase the speed, the max speed, this would change this here, the menu, so then it would go from showing me the PSI to something else, right? Because it will circle through that menu. But now, when I change this with the scroll wheel, it does not do that. It simply increases or decreases my autopilot speed, but it does not mess with that. But as soon as I get out of autopilot, that is when I can press this scroll wheel, and that is when I can go through different menu items. So they fixed that stuff as well. So let's test the blind spot detection feature here. As you see, there's a car in the blind spot, and it showed really well that there was a car in the blind spot, and it's still showing that. Now let's test the Android Auto and CarPlay here. Let's start with Android Auto. So when we go to this setting, the menu here, when you slide it, this is where Android Auto is. Now it says connect to the Bluetooth CarKit 93B. So we're gonna go over here, and we're going to hit pair a new device. And let's see if CarKit, yep. So that's the CarKit. We're going to pair it, and it says usually 000 or 1234. So let's try 0000. And it looks like that's it. Now we're going to allow, and it says it's connecting. Let's see how long it takes. There you go. Looks like we got Android Auto popping up here. This is the first time we have connected to this, of course, and yeah, looks like we have that here. Slowly all of this is coming out, and I haven't allowed the location access, so it says Google Map requires location access. But here you go. You have got your Android Auto. That's pretty quick. That's pretty easy. All you do is connect to Bluetooth and you will have Android Auto here. That means you can use Waze, you can use all these apps. Now let's do a demonstration of the CarPlay. So you click here, it'll tell you the pairing code, it'll tell you the Bluetooth. So we're just waiting for this, and then when it asks for a pairing code, we're just going to put 0, 0, 0, 0. So 4 zeros and then hit pair. And once this connects, it is going to ask us if we want to use CarPlay. So use CarPlay, and that should be it. It says connecting. We're good. If you look at it, it is CarPlay. It's a full screen because we changed that through settings earlier that to be a full screen CarPlay, and now we got everything from this phone CarPlay over there. So this is pretty nice that it has got the full CarPlay. So here, as you can see, there's CarPlay. We go over here, then we are able to go to apps like Waze, and we tap here, we can go to wherever we need to go. Press. There you go. So that's how easy it is. Whatever you're doing on your phone, it is reflected here, and you can go back. You can see all of this. You can see the half a screen where it is playing the music here. You can search, and it also has all the apps that are applicable for CarPlay, that are supported by CarPlay. Now here is the map, and it's updating. We can press on this. This is an older phone. This is an iPhone 7 Plus, so if you can imagine, it's a little slow, but this display is doing a really good job at replicating this. So there you have it. Apple Map is good to go. This is as good as your phone, so however quickly your phone updates the map, that is how quickly this display is going to update. So now you're able to use Waze in your car, in your Tesla. This looks pretty good, and it updates real time, of course, and it shows everything. Another cool thing they added is that now if you press this towards the left and hold it, the Siri activates. Siri, play music. So I want to clarify one thing about the audio output. Here, if you look at it, it says audio output has power amplifier, versus if you look at this, it says original Bluetooth. I thought what that meant was it would connect to the phone with the Bluetooth and connect to Tesla, but that is not the case. And let me explain what this means. So the power amplifier basically means whatever you are playing, let's say from CarPlay, will go directly to this little speaker on the top. In the back, it is not going to go to Tesla. The way you can make this go to Tesla is by connecting your phone with the dual Bluetooth settings. So if you connect your phone to the Tesla using the Tesla's Bluetooth, and then connect your phone to this device using the phone's Bluetooth, because most modern phones allow you to have dual Bluetooth settings, then you can continue using the audio and everything on this Tesla screen just using your phone, and then you can get all the visuals of the CarPlay on this display. Hope that is clear. But there's no way where you can connect your phone to just this, and then this connects to the Tesla. That used to be the system in the past, but they are not allowing that anymore. So you can only either play using the speaker here or connect your phone directly to Tesla to play through there. I would not recommend using the speaker here because it's not that great. I would recommend you stay your phone connected to the Tesla screen and then use your Bluetooth for this as a dual Bluetooth setup. Now, if you don't want to connect this phone directly to Tesla and you can work with the speaker here, let's at least check the audio quality of how this sounds. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to call my wife and then ask her how my audio sounds from the call, so that you're assured that the quality is good, or if not, my wife would be able to tell us. So let me call her here. Now the call is going through. I'm putting the mic kind of close to the speaker here. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, Annie.
Hey, Annie.
How does the audio sound from here? I'm testing this new display from Hansho, and I want to show my audience how the audio quality is.
Okay, I can hear you, understand you, but it's I can tell that I'm on a speaker phone.
Okay, is it like crackling noise or is it just a delay?
A bit of crack, like a little bit robotic, but not like barely noticeable.
Is there any background noise or anything?
No, no noise.
Okay, awesome. That sounds good. Thank you. I like that now you can control everything using this scroll wheel. So you don't have to go back to the touch screen. You can even go through different settings here, scroll through, and then you'll be able to see that. So that's really nice. They figured that out. And if we press on that car icon, it exits. And then you can also go through different menus here. So if you look at it on this angle here, you can switch between different things. We're going to take a look at that Plaid animation, what it looks like. So, well, you start driving, the Plaid sign comes up and kind of matches that Model S and X Plaid animation on your screen. So I started this project super early in the morning today, and it is evening time here, and this is all I did today. Test this display. I want to get good angles for you for the installation guide. I wanted to show you everything that you need to know, including the airflow testing, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, show you the audio quality using Apple CarPlay, show you the front blind spot camera, the side blind spot detection system, all the UIs that they offer during day and night time, the setting, everything that you need to know, in my opinion, so that you can make your judgment if you are gonna wanna check this out. If I missed something, please let me know in the comment section below and I will make a follow-up video. But all I ask from you is please help us grow. That means smashing that like button, subscribing to the channel, commenting anything. Even if you don't have anything to say, you can just put a smiley face. Tell me I did a good job. If I did a bad job, please let me know in the comment section what feedback you have for future videos. Anything you can do, because more you engage with my videos, higher it will rank on YouTube's algorithm. That means our channel will continuously grow. That means we can bring more and more videos like this in the future. Thank you very much. Let's now move on to my likes and dislikes about this display. First of all, I really like the design choice that they made with the air vent system. That has been a big ask and a missed point on many of the previous displays, and now they incorporated that with this new unit. This designated air vent system here in the front does a really good job. We saw earlier with our airflow testing that it actually pushes a lot of air directly going to our face. That means they did the job, they listened to our feedback. I also really like that they incorporated some of the feedback we have given to them on the little displays, 3 or 4 displays that we have tested so far, and they incorporated all of those with this display here, which means they upgraded some of the bugs that they had, such as the Autopilot, where it wouldn't work on Navigate and Autopilot, it would only work on just the regular Autopilot. Now it works on both Navigate and regular. I did not test on FSD because it is on a different car, but I will test that in the future and let you know if it works in the FSD or not. But they say that it works, so because it worked on Navigate and Autopilot, that makes me believe that it works on FSD as well. But they also incorporated the blind spot detection system, the front camera that we really like, and some of the other settings that we have asked for that they incorporated here. So I really like that. UI is still not that great. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. It looks cool on some of the UI, but it's still not to the level that I expect them to be at. I don't know what is so difficult for this company to just implement simple UI that we like, the minimalist UI, Tesla UI, use the Tesla fonts, use Tesla graphics, just come up with a UI that looks less clunky and more of a futuristic, minimalist, high-end car design. And I feel like they can really do it, but they keep bringing the same UIs on and on. I mean, they added one UI, new UI to this compared to some of the smaller unit. I like the Test Logic UI on the previous version. They removed it from this one. So that's the feedback I have for them. Work on UI. Get feedback from people. We have been submitting a lot of feedbacks to them through our videos, and still we haven't seen the UIs that we like. There are certain displays that we really like the UI from. I want them to replicate that, but they keep pushing this new unit with the same UIs there. So I hope that they implement that and incorporate that and upgrade the UI in the future. And that is the beauty of this display, is that because it has software update capability using the USB drive or OTA, I'm not sure if that even works, but at least with the USB drive, they can always change the UI through software update. And that is one more thing that I have comment for Hansho, and that is based on all the comments that I have read through on my videos is, why does Hansho keep making new displays rather than supporting the displays that are already sold? That's a fair point. I don't know why. I think they are just trying to upgrade the hardware so that there is new displays that they can sell. But there is also that customer service aspect of it. I'm gonna keep pressuring it. I hope you guys keep pressuring them to keep pushing updates into the older units so that all of these features like the Blindspot system, it is super easy for them to implement through software upgrade on even the older models. They just have to match the right code and get that done. So I really hope that Hansho keeps upgrading those and keep everybody happy that just because you bought an older version, you don't miss out on future upgrades. So having said all of that, what are your thoughts about this display? What are your likes? What are your dislikes? Would you get this for your Tesla Model 3 or Model Y? What is this missing? And if you have any feedback, please let me know in the comment section below. I'll pass those along to Hansho, as well as we'll try to incorporate it in the future videos if you want me to test something here with this display. If you would like to check this out, I have a special link in the description below, and if you put Shiva Tesla during checkout, you should be able to save significant amount of money. Thank you very much for watching this video. As I said earlier, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, come back again soon for another Tesla accessory.